you don't have to pick entrepreneur or do I have to work for somebody. I think people with a 9 to 5 um get a hard rep or a hard time about having a 9 to 5. One, you can do both. Your life is linear. So for me, I find a lot of value having a 9 to 5 right now. It's stable income. I'm being able to have a lot of professional development opportunities sponsored. I'm working at a very large investment bank where I'm understanding how marketing and economies work at scale worldwide. But I also, as we talk about, and you can do this and that. I also want to have my own marketing firm or agency one day. So I do want to be a full time entrepreneur, and I'm thankful for my 9 to 5.
So, hey y'all, welcome back to Coffee Chats with Chime In Sis. Today I have my sis, Vanessa Patrick, who is a vice president of product marketing and also a fellow MT alum and my line sister. Hey sis, how are you?
Yes, good. Happy to be here. Happy to chat with you today, and so glad the Chime In Sis is back.
Yes, it's back and in full effect. So I'm so excited to chat with you. I know that we've had a couple of side conversations just about what you've been doing and getting up to speed with one another. But I'm so excited to learn more about your journey into coming into marketing. And so let's go ahead and jump into that. I know that you had a little bit of a pivot from higher education and then went into marketing. So tell us more about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, similar to a lot of people that graduated in 2012, I
Mhm.
got out of school. The job market wasn't looking too great. So, I actually moved back home to Tennessee, and I had a great opportunity to work for the state of Tennessee in this college access program, to where I was helping students figure out what college means, how to enroll, working with a lot of first generation college students.
Mm,
Loved it at the time. So I was like, hey, how can I turn this into a career? The job market still wasn't looking the best. So I started applying for a couple of different grad schools, and I ended up getting an offer. I don't know if you really call it a full ride in grad school, but I ended up getting an offer with an assistantship to
yeah.
where everything was pretty much paid for. So it was a great opportunity. I spent 2 years at the University of West Georgia. And super candidly, once I got my first job working at University of Florida, I saw how much money I was making, and I was like, this is not
Mm,
the life I want to live.
yeah.
And for me, and as a woman, I think it's really important to be able to kind of say money matters, and it does matter. I don't think one lifestyle is better than the other, but I knew what I wanted for myself. So I started
Mm,
trying to figure out kind of how can I pivot back into marketing and communications, which is something I studied in undergrad at
yeah.
Middle Tennessee State University. So kind of my thought pattern was, one, how do I move to a city that I want to be in again? Because at the time I was living in Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah.
And my second thought was, how do I kind of merge this higher education experience with marketing to kind of get back to where I want to be?
Mm,
So I'd always considered living in Atlanta, which is where I reside now. And I saw this really great opportunity come up working at Georgia State as the graduate admissions lead for email marketing. So, what that gave me an opportunity to do was to be able to merge my marketing and higher education experience into one to kind of blend the grad and undergrad degree together.
awesome.
So, started working there for a while, definitely started feeling kind of confident and getting that feeling back that I'm in kind of the right lane, which is something I always tell people when I'm mentoring. Like, a lot of times you can feel it. And I think it's important
Mm,
to kind of tap into your intuition and really kind of lean into what feels right, because a lot of times you do feel it. That could
yeah.
be feelings like this comes easy to me. It could be feelings like this does not feel like work. I can do it all day. A lot of
Mm,
times when I switched back to marketing, I was working late or early hours, and I wasn't really upset. So it was kind of like
mm,
those feelings of like, this is where I want to be. I feel like I'm operating in my natural God given talent, those type of things.
yeah.
So I wanted to find a way to broaden my experience outside of education but also be able to pivot
Hmm.
to get to a place where I can build up my resume to hopefully move into a more senior role. So
Yeah.
from there, I had a great opportunity to work at a marketing agency here. So I was able to use my experience specifically in email, SMS, and content strategy that I implemented at Georgia State to leverage that to be able to get the job at the email marketing agency. So that was exciting because it was a huge jump to where
Yeah.
I'm working with really big brands like HD Supply,
Yeah.
Home Depot, Chick-fil-A, Edible Arrangements.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was super exciting for me. I realized early on that I didn't want to stay in the agency life forever. Marketing agencies
Mm.
are great, but it's very, very fast paced. Everything's always a priority, everything's always on fire. But I
Mm.
saw it as a means to an end. And I think that's
Yeah.
really important when you're thinking about a vision for your career. Sometimes it's really frustrating when you know you're taking on a job to where you're tired all the time, or you're having
Mm.
long hours, or maybe you're being forced to learn skills in a really rapid manner and execute on those.
Yeah.
But from talking to people, which we'll talk about later, but that's one reason I'm so big on a mentor. One of the mentors that I spoke with also came from agency life, and she was like, stick it out, get the most experience out of it. The names and companies you're going to be able to come out of this experience with on your resume is going to help propel you. And it
Mm.
really did.
Mm.
So I spent about 4 to 5 years working at a marketing agency. And then I got a great opportunity to work in a tech company that specialized in email and SMS technology to send personalized kind of emails to customers. So,
Mm.
like for example, if you've ever gotten an email that's like, let's see, hey Roslyn, we see that you've been shopping at Zara. These are our top 5 suggested picks for you.
Hmm.
That's all powered by SaaS and technology that's working in the scenes to pull in different data analytics and points based on how you shop, where you shop, and what you've bought in the past to personalize that. So while
Mm.
working at the tech company, I spent a lot of time learning more about cloud technology, different cloud stacks, different marketing technology stacks, and really learning the tech side of MarTech. And
Okay.
actually, from keeping my LinkedIn updated, from really being conscious about reaching out to coworkers once I completed a job or former clients I worked with and asking them to provide recommendations on LinkedIn. A
Hmm.
recruiter actually reached out to me about my current job that I'm in, and I
Wow.
interviewed, and that's kind of how I'm in this VP of product marketing and adoption role now. And I work at an investment bank. So what's unique about this role is I do a lot of internal product marketing.
Hmm.
So the bank that I work at is huge. And let's say, for
Yeah.
example, we're rolling out a new service, a new product. What I'm doing is working with different lines of business to help them figure out how to position this product. And then also the adoption part of my role, because it's product marketing
Mm.
and adoption. So looking at kind of trends, what's going well, what's not going well, how can we drive this home more? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of how I got here.
I absolutely love that. And one thing that I feel like I'm going to tell you as well as what I tell like everybody else who I've interviewed, you tell your story really well. So I don't know if it's just a matter of you like saying it a lot or if you've had the opportunity to practice, but you do a good job of like really telling your story and then also giving color to what you do and it like flows really well.
Thank you.
Um, but through your story, you talked about a couple of pivots that you've made. And so we know that with pivots come like discomfort
Yeah.
and challenges. So let's talk about that. What were some of the challenges that you faced, on your journey to becoming the marketing guru that you are now?
Yeah, I like to always say when you look at like your resume and your life in reverse, it seems like this pretty picture and it makes so much sense. When I
Yeah.
tell you it's been absolute chaos probably until I got into the current role that I'm in. Um,
Yeah.
from getting a graduate degree and realizing I didn't really want a career in what I just spent 2 years studying,
Mm,
from kind of wrestling with the joy and the fulfillment you get from helping others in education
yes.
while simultaneously being stressed out about not being paid enough and not being able to live the life that I would desire or want to be able to provide to myself.
Mm.
to not knowing what type of marketing I want to experience in. And what's so interesting is when I went to school, they weren't really teaching like product marketing and email marketing and content strategy as these separate lanes. So I really had to learn
Mm.
the importance of learning and taking classes and developing my craft on the go.
Mm.
One
Mm.
thing, and I know we've talked about this but Upwork is, and I don't even promote things that I don't get paid for, but Upwork is great. Upwork is, listen,
We're gonna
money,
tag
money,
you. Don't worry
money.
about it. Yes.
But what's great about Upwork is it gives you an opportunity to be able to work with either small businesses who are
Mm.
in a place to where they're starting to grow, but they may not necessarily have the full team to execute marketing tasks. And I've
Mhm.
also found roles on Upwork where it was a really big company where they asked me to sign an NDA, but like let's say it was around Christmas time and they maybe
Mhm.
needed copywriting or social strategy support or content strategy. So while kind of making these different pivots, which were very frustrating, I
Yeah.
tried to very consciously expose myself to different parts of marketing in strategic ways
Mm.
to get more experience, but to also just see what I liked. I
Yeah.
knew I always wanted to move into a senior role and eventually have my own marketing company. And I'm still getting there. Like, I'm very thankful I'm in this VP role, but I still want to be a CMO. I'd love to have my own, like, culture driven marketing agency one day. So
Yeah.
for me, I knew to really be able to ascend to that level, I would have to get experience across kind of like the marketing, the different types of marketing.